Hey guys, this is Adrian from Real RC Reviews, and today we are looking at the HPI Venture FJ Cruiser. Um, as soon as I saw this sucker come out, I knew I wanted it just based on the body alone. It's always been one of my favorite trucks, even though I've never actually owned one full scale. I know Tamiya had one, and I think some other brand had an FJ Cruiser, and just didn't look quite as good as this one does. So yeah, that was pretty exciting when it was announced. Like everybody else, we put in um, our pre-orders and waited, but then there was other stuff I wanted to review, so I ended up canceling my pre-order, which I probably shouldn't have, because then I would have gotten it earlier. So I just had to wait until some of the stores started carrying them, and then that's when I bought mine. I have already driven it. I'm gonna have some running video just for the hell of it, just so you can see it running around. Even though there's, I'm sure, hours and hours of footage of this truck already on YouTube. And you know me, I like to just drive it around my some of the terrain around my neighborhood. Not really trails or any hardcore crawling. So I'm not going to really do a wrap up after I drive. I'm just going to talk about it and then show you my footage. But in talking about it, I will give you my opinion. I paid full price for this thing. It's $400, I think. If you buy it from Tower, it's also one of these things that you cannot use coupon codes for. So that kind of is a bummer, but no big deal. So yeah, showing you the body, just as you can see it there, it looks awesome. I'm going to take the body off, which requires removal of a few body clips. Oh, and there is one in the back also that allows you to swing that out, the spare tire, and then you pull this up. So there you have the inside. The layout is really nice. They've got a decent amount of weight up in front. I think people are still finding a way to put their battery further up, but again, I'm not a hardcore crawler guy, so I don't mind it here. They have a neat clip system here. I took the two cross beam pieces of plastic off because it was getting in the way of my lipo. And there's a little pin that holds that closed also. Right off the bat, let me just give you the negatives, because for me there's only really two, and the big one is this. Okay, I have an adapter. This is an adapter I made for, I didn't feel like cutting and soldering. But in this day and age, I feel like there's zero excuse for using this Tamiya plug or Molex plug, whatever they call that. That was a real buzzkill to see that. I mean, between Dean's and XT60 and XT90 and all these other great plugs out there, I have no understanding as to why they would put that on there. I don't know anybody that is using it that way. I'm pretty sure everybody's cutting it. So that's one complaint. And then my other big complaint is the servo. Jesus. That is, I buy a lot of RTRs and stuff. I like doing kits also. But, there's just no reason to put such a horrendously weak servo on a truck like this. I never do what everybody else does. A lot of people just buy a Traxxas vehicle or any other vehicle and they just immediately switch out the electronics. I don't do that because generally it works for me. The stock stuff works for me. But in this case, the stock servo just absolutely was atrocious. it wouldn't even turn the steering wheel, or this, it wouldn't even move the steering on my carpet. And it's, I have pretty short carpet, so if it didn't even do that, when I took it outside and I tried to climb over, tree stumps and stuff, and I tried to go up and, turn hard to one side so I could, use both wheels to climb, it just wouldn't even hold. So, after about 10 minutes of driving it that way, I just, turned it off, went inside, and ordered myself, is it a Power HD LF20, I think it is? It's a really, really nice servo. It's got like 4 or 5 times the power of the stock servo. And I think it costs like $18 from Value Hobby. So check that out. It was really easy to switch the servo out. I wanted to use an aluminum horn, but I would have had to use spacers for the back of the servo. So I just went ahead and put on the servo saver thingy that came stock on the truck. So, it comes with a bag of little parts and pieces and manuals and stuff. This is the HPI radio it shipped with, which is adequate. I drove it the first time with it, and it does everything you need it to do. It has all these different adjustments, endpoint adjustments, and that kind of thing. So, no real complaints there. I just like using my own radio, so I switched out the receiver and I binded it to the to my radio. So from there, also, again, I know some people buy RTRs and want everything in the package, but this kind of thing, $400 for a crawler, I just don't know that many people that are actually going to use a nickel metal battery. I mean, they're heavier than bejesus. Their discharge curve sucks, and I'd rather HPI or anybody else that still packs a nickel metal battery into the RTR. I'd rather save a couple bucks, even if it's $5. I'd rather just save the money than to get an RTR that costs a little bit more but includes a battery that I'm never going to use. I always donate these or just give them to the hobby shop for them to do whatever they want with them. So other than that, the layout is really solid on here. You can see the inside, the way the drive shafts are laid out. This is a little bit slower than my TRX4, but it's not bad. It's a crawler, so speed is not an important thing here. It looks really great with the pumpkin cover, or whatever that's called. The geometry on the links and everything, I wish they were metal links, but no real issue there. I'll probably upgrade that at some point, but for now, they work fine. And the tires. The tires are nice and soft. I've really had no issue with them. The only time I've had an issue is when it's been cold. They just don't grip as well. But my overall impression, it's a great truck. Everything except for the servo and the pointless nickel metal battery and the Tamiya plug. That doesn't disqualify it for me. I still absolutely love it. It's a great truck, drives nicely, looks spectacular. My neighbors have gotten used to some of the cool stuff that I drive around here, and they usually don't notice when I get a new truck or something, but with this sucker, I had several people, stop and talk to me, ask me who made it, how much it was, that kind of thing. So it's definitely a looker. It's definitely, it's awesome. I think you'll like it. It makes a great first crawler. Makes a great fifth crawler. It's just overall a good product, with a couple shortcomings that, I hope they address in the future. But if not, hey, doesn't take anything to buy yourself a LiPo. These 5,000 or 4,000 milliamp 2 cells are down to between $20 and $30, depending on where you shop. The servo, like I said, was less than $20. Of course, there are upgrades I wish I didn't have to make, but I don't mind. It's a great truck, and to me, it's worth it. RTRs, everybody likes to say they're overpriced, but at $400, I don't feel ripped off. It looks good, drives nicely, and I just think it's a great product. So that's what I have to say. And watch some of my driving. It's not going to be, that amazingly exciting, but watch a little bit and stay tuned, subscribe, and help support us as much as you can by just liking our videos, liking our page, following us on Instagram, following us on Twitter, whatever you can. We appreciate your views, and thank you. Take it easy, guys.